Good morning, everyone. My name is Anne-Marie Van. Today is Wednesday, June the 7th, and this is the midweek Moneyball morning report. I've got a little bit of a different format because I want to keep our zones the same across channels, and so I am using Motive Wave today because I have built the zones in here. I'm going to start with SPY. This is the daily chart, so here's what we want to look at when we take a look at SPY and say, where are we going? Here's what we want to do with the zones. When we come into a zone, the first thing we anticipate is that sellers will be sitting there to do something. And so what we've seen over the last 3 days is that sellers have come in and brought us back, and buyers have pushed us up into the next zone and brought us back. So right now we are sitting between this 425 area and 429, excuse me. And so what we want to look at today in the price action is, do we come in and hold above the close of the prior day, or are we sitting underneath those zones? So right now we've got a little bit of weakness, but the price action in general is holding an upward VWAP and we look okay. All right, pullbacks are going to be buy zones. We are very far from the moving averages, and so if we cannot get up and stay up over 428, we need to start thinking about sideways pressure that we can sell the top and buy the bottom. If we lose the open of the prior day, more weakness is going to come in, so you want to stand aside. All right, let's take a look at the next group. Oops, where are we? Here's the Qs. Same sort of thing. Numbers we want to watch for above 355. Buyers will engage. They're going to push us up into the next area, which is 359. Or if we cannot hold that open about 354, they're going to push price down into the next edge. And I did show you something in the chat that says, hey, how can you look for tight price action that breaks out and then comes back to retest? Listen, in a bullish environment, you're going to find buyers on the pullback. If you can't see them at the first zone, they'll come in at the second. Don't anticipate, just watch for it and realize if you close on a low like it did here, you have to give the market a little bit of time to settle itself out and look for the zones to help you buy into the market space, right? Sideways a little bit. What are we looking for? We're looking for news. CPI comes out at 3 o'clock today. All right, so let's take a look now at the IWM. It had a really big breakout area. Let me move this chart over so you can see more of the pricing. It had the big breakout area into 185. We're going to have a little bit of prior congestion there, but notice, same sort of zone event. Look at what happens as they come into these zones. They'll pop out, retest the prior zone, and continue forward, okay? And so what I'm expecting is a fade that allows us to move to the top, or a blow off top into the prior resistance zone and the next level, and then the fade. So how do we know how to do that? We watch carefully. As long as it's making higher lows and higher highs, we know we are sitting in a trend that is going to be easy to capture. All right, This is what a formation looks like when it comes into the top of the zone and it cannot close above it. And so you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times getting into the area. And where does it really want to go? It wants to go to the edge of the second zone, just underneath it. And you'll see here, it does it in one candlestick through the day, comes up to the edge. This is how you know it's bouncing in a range, right? Everybody agrees on price here. And then the break comes into the edge, all the way down to the next zone. Notice sometimes it breaks and then immediately recaptures, right? So that's really what you're looking for, that says, wait a second, I'm still moving from one zone to the next, okay? So pace yourself through and don't look for big moves right now until the market tells you that it's time for that move, okay? So let's take a look at the NQ and we'll look at the ES last. This is the region that had the original congestion, and then here's a new level of congestion. Take a look what happens. It comes into the zone, might peek its head above, but then it fades, and where are we? We're probably going to come right back into that VWAP, right? So that's where it is. So what do you need to do as a trader? Prepare yourself at the zone to watch for what's going to happen, and don't try to do too much in between the zones, especially when you've got a flat VWAP. Down here, we haven't tested this 150 area, right? This zone here at the 150 measurement, but we can see low, higher low, higher low, and we just broke higher into the space. My thought is that we stay choppy for a long while in here. It just is what it is. So next thing we'll look at is the ES. Of course, this is my bread and butter. This was the last image that I took at the 91 area. I took this one early to show us. I showed the setup of the breakout into the region past 94, into the 96 zone, the failure to move back and hold, and I said, hey, listen, we're probably gonna come in and kiss 42.91, and that is exactly what I am seeing right now. Buyers are in charge from a big picture event, but we're clearly caught in a zone between here and here with last week. That's what this goldenrod colored line is. This is the close of last week, or maybe it's the high of last week. Can't remember. It's one of last week's levels, and they are still battling around that zone. Hopefully you understand to use the zone. You can do it anywhere you see congestion. Just measure the Fibonacci's this way. I know it's kind of an unusual way to use a Fibonacci, but it works very, very well, particularly in this environment. And remember, the zone is not an exact number. It's a squishy range, so you can break it and stay around it for a long time. Just watch your VWAP, watch resistance, and indeed, these end up being small zones on their own. All right? Take care, everyone, and we'll do this weekly, and I'll see the rest of us on the inside of the Benzinga Pro platform.